Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
Hey there, and welcome back to our chronological reading of God's Word. I'm Ray Reynolds, the minister of the Summerdale Church of Christ, and we're reading chronologically from Genesis to Revelation throughout this year. Today we find ourselves in Exodus chapter 18, so grab you a Bible and a notepad and let's read God's Word together. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard all that God had done for Moses and for Israel his people, that the Lord had brought them out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, with her two sons, of whom the name was, one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land, and the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses to the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Now he said to Moses, I, your father-in-law, am Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and your two sons with her. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him, and they asked each other about their well-being, and they went into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for it in this very thing which they have behaved proudly, he was above them. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to God. And Aaron came with them to all the elders of Israel and ate bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood before Moses from morning till evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, What is this thing that you're doing for the people? Why do you sit alone, and all the people stand before you from morning till evening? And Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another. And I make known the statutes of God and his laws. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, This thing you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you surely wear yourselves out, for this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk, and the work they must do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all times. Then it will be at that great matter that they bring to you, but every small matter they'll judge themselves. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you if you do this thing, and God so commands you, then you'll be able to endure, and all the people will also go to their place in peace. So Moses heeded the voice of the father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all of Israel and made them heads over people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, rulers of tens. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went on his way in his own land. In the 3rd month, after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, and on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sinai, for they had departed from Rephidim, and came to the wilderness of Sinai, and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him out of the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, Tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me, above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. Moses came and called the elders of the people and laid before them all the words the Lord had commanded. Then all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I come to you in thick cloud, and the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. So Moses told the words of the people to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and will let them wash their clothes, and let them be ready for the third day. For on the third day the Lord will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of the people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, Take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain or touch its base. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come near to the mountain." So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, "Be ready for the third day. Do not come near your wives." Then it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunderings and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain, and the sound of the trumpets was very loud, so that all the people who were camping trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long, and became louder and louder, Moses spoke and said, and God answered him by a voice. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, "Go down and warn the people, lest they break through the gaze at the Lord, and many of them perish. Also let them priests who come near to the Lord consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them." But Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up to the Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, Set bounds among the mountain and consecrate it." Then the Lord said to him, "Away, get down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. And God spoke all these things, saying, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself a carved image in any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day and the Sabbath of the Lord your God, it is in you, it shall do no work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is with you in your gates. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that's in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that the days of you may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, nor shall you covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's." Now all the people witnessed the thunderings and lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. But when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, "You speak with us, and we'll hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die." And Moses said to the people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that you may fear him, and his fear may be upon you, so that you may not sin." So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, You have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make anything to me, gods of silver, gods of gold, you shall not make for yourselves. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and you shall sacrifice on it burnt offerings and peace offerings, your sheep, your oxen. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you, and I will bless you. And if you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stone, for if you use your tool on it, you've profaned it. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may not be exposed on it." Now these are the judgments which you set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years. In the 7th year you shall go out and pay nothing. If he comes in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her son and her children shall be her master's. and he shall go out by himself. But if the servant plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, and I will not go free, then his master shall bring him to the judges. He shall bring him to the door, or to the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if a man sells his daughter to be a female slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who has betrothed her to himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to foreign people, since he has dealt deceitfully with her. And if he has betrothed her to his son, he shall deal with her according to the custom of the daughters. If he takes another wife, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, and her marriage rights. And if he does not do these three for her, then he shall go out free without paying money. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. However, if he did not lie in wait, but God delivered him into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man acts with premeditation against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, you shall take him from my altar, that he may die. And he who strikes his father or his mother shall be put to death. He who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he's found in the hand, surely he shall be put to death. And he who curses his father or mother shall surely be put to death. If men contend with each other, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but he is confined to a bed, if he rises again and walks about outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be acquitted. He shall only pay for the loss of his time, and he shall provide him to be thoroughly healed. And if a man beats his male or female servant with a rod so that he dies under his hand, he shall be surely punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. If men fight and hurt a woman with child so that she gives birth prematurely, yet no harm follows, he shall surely be punished according to the woman's husband imposes on him. And he shall pay the judges as the judges determine. But if harm follows, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. If a man strikes the eye of a male or female servant and destroys it, he shall let him go free for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of his female or male servant, he shall let him go free for the sake of his tooth. If an ox gores a man or woman to death, and the ox shall surely be stoned, and the flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be acquitted. But if the ox tended to thrust with its horn in times past, and it has been made known to his owner, and he has not kept it confined, so that it kills a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and the owner shall be put to death. If there is imposed on him a sum of money, then he shall pay the redeemed with his life, whatever is imposed on him, whether it is gored a son or gored a daughter, according to the judgment it shall be done to him. If the ox gores a male or female servant, he shall give it to his master, 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man opens a pit, or a man digs a pit and doesn't cover it, and an ox or donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit shall make it good. He shall give money to the owner, but the dead animal shall be his. If one man's ox hurts another so that it dies, then they shall sell a live ox, and divide the money from it. And if the dead ox, they shall also divide. Or if it was known that the ox tended to thrust in times past, and its owner had not kept it confined, he shall surely pay for the ox, and the dead animal shall be his own. Appreciate you so much for tuning in to today's reading. Look forward to being again with you tomorrow. I hope you have a great day today.